looking for organic things, and that's good. Organic wines I care about to some extent, but at a secondary level to whether or not the wine is of high enough quality. And that has to be the thing for me. There's far too much wine in the world, possibly full stop, and I think that there is too much that is not good enough. And for me, as a consumer and buyer in business with wine, it's really important that you have wine that is good enough first. If then, once I've tried the wine, I think, no, this is really good, and I'm interested in it, and it then happens that the wine is organic, I'll add that on as a secondary feature. It's a bit like, in theory, trying the wine and then seeing that it has a really good label. And I go, oh, well, that's really nice, and people will be happy to drink that. It should be a secondary feature. The label, funnily enough, is really important, but we'll talk about that on another day. This wine is one of those that does all of those things as it happens. It's a really beautiful, high quality New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. And I first came across this about 10 years ago, and I was really pleased because it was different to a lot of the other New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs that we were selling at the time. It has a bit more texture and a bit more mouthfeel, and that's because they give it a little bit of shorter aging with its grape skins in contact with the wine juice, which increases the amount of gelatinous content in the overall wine. It's just that little bit richer, and there's a very short amount of fine lees aging and batonnage. It's an expensive way to do it, and it means that you have to employ somebody to do those jobs rather than just a machine that makes the wine for you. And it respects, I think, what they do in the vineyard, which is really look after their grapes. In my opinion, it is better to have a really well-run vineyard than necessarily an organic one. But of course, the thing about an organic one is that typically speaking, it has to be well run. So that's very useful to know. It doesn't automatically make the wine better, but it does mean that it has to adhere to a certain number of minimum criteria, and that's good. This is better than just an organic wine, and that to me is what is really good about it. It's fresh, crisp, bright, typically juicy with green apples, kiwi, passion fruit aromas. And if you ever walk past a sort of autumnal blackberry bush or a summer blackberry bush, and it's blackcurrant bush, sorry, and you smell the blackcurrant leaves, especially if they're a little bit wet, it has that wonderful blackcurrant leaf aroma, which is from a favourite compound family called methoxypyrazines, but you don't really need to know that. Just showing off. I hope you enjoyed. It's crisp, delicious with food, really good on its own. Walnut blocks, collectibles, Sauvignon Blanc, and if you're stuck for remembering it, it's the one that looks like a stamp.